Hi there, my name's Adam from ESOL Online, and I'm welcoming you to Fast Track English. This is an elementary English level course, and today you're looking at the sample lesson for this course. Before we start, I would just like to give you a quick course overview. This is for the whole Fast Track English elementary course. So, first of all, you might want to know, how fast is this course? How long will it take you to complete this course? Well, we recommend that you study 30 minutes a day. That would be one lesson every day. And if you do that 4 lessons a week, so 4 times a week, any day of the week that you like, the whole course will take you 10 weeks to complete. So in 10 weeks, you will be completing the Fast Track Elementary, which is the equivalent of reaching you up to Entry 2 in ESOL. There are 10 units in this course, and these are the titles of the units for the Fast Track Elementary. So you will be covering everyday communication, shopping, health and fitness, schools and education, culture and life in the UK, work and jobs, home, travel and transport, community and social life, and safety and emergencies. So those are the topics that you will be studying in the Fast Track English Elementary course. At the end of the 10 units, you will have covered all of these. And each unit has got 4 lessons, so you would expect to complete a unit in a week. Here is an example of one of the units. So Unit 2 is all about shopping, and there will be 4 lessons in that unit, and these are the titles of the 4 lessons in our Unit 2 Fast Track English Shopping. The first lesson is talking about schools. Second lesson is helping with homework. The third lesson is talking to teachers and school staff. And the fourth lesson is applying for courses. So just to recap, you will be doing 30 minutes a day, approximately. If you do 4 lessons a week, your whole course will take you 10 weeks for you to cover the 40 lessons. There is also the option for you to do a tutorial at the end of each unit. So you could still complete the course in 10 weeks by doing a lesson a day for 4 days. And then on the 5th day, you can do your tutorial. The tutorials can be 25 minutes or 50 minutes. It's your choice. I'll tell you a little bit more about tutorials at the end of the lesson. But this is today's lesson. It's the sample bonus lesson. So this one is not taken out of our course. This is an additional free lesson that we're giving you to show you how the lessons work. And this one is all about how to study English when you have children at home. So this is a one-off lesson. Lesson content. So each Fast Track English lesson follows a similar format. There is going to be reading, writing, speaking and listening, and grammar in each unit, in each lesson rather. And this is the lesson content for this particular one. So we start with a fun warm-up, which will introduce the topic. We then give you a vocabulary lesson. We follow this with a reading task with comprehension questions. And the reading task and the rest of the lesson will include the vocabulary that we've already given you. There's then a grammar lesson, which is a grammar in context part of it. We'll introduce a grammar topic, which is relevant to the content of the lesson that we're doing. And then I'll give you some questions that will help you to understand that grammar. I then give you a reading task. So I'll read out a text to you for you to listen to, and you'll answer questions on that one. There's a recap quiz at the end of each lesson, just to check your learning, to check that you've understood what we've done in that lesson. And we usually round things off with a writing task. So I give you a writing task, which allows you to use the English that you have learned from this lesson and then you can go away and do that writing in your own time. And if you have a tutorial, then you can get the teacher to check the writing that you've done from that lesson. So each lesson in the Fast Track course follows a very similar structure, a similar format, which allows you to cover all of the key skills of English. And all of that is covered within the 30-minute lesson. Okay, let's start with our warm-up. So what we do is we give you 4 pictures and then we give you 4 labels for those pictures. It's not always exactly the same format. Some of the warm-ups can change slightly, but this is a typical one. And what I usually will ask people to do is to pause the video and take as much time as you want to be able to answer the questions. And then when you're ready, you start up the video again. I will ask you to do that at several times through each lesson. This is an opportunity for you to be able to study in your own time. Everybody is going to study at a different pace, and this will give you the chance to study in your own time. So when I say the lesson is lasting about 30 minutes, it could be longer, it could be slightly less. It depends how quickly you work, but on average, it would be 30 minutes. Anyway, here is your 4 pictures for today. Here's your 4 labels. Pause the video, match the labels. When you're ready, start it up again, and then we will check the answers together. Okay, so the first picture, the top left picture, this lady who is with headphones and cooking, it says, "I listen to English while I cook." So as you can see, these are all study situations. The theme of today's lesson is studying English when you have children at home. An opportunity to study would be, for example, when you're cooking. You could do a little bit of a listening task. Put it on headphones, put it on your phone next to you whilst you're cooking. The second picture, it says, "My children play while I work." So you can see at the back of the picture, the kids are watching TV, they're playing computer games or studying, and she's doing her own English study whilst they're doing that. Third picture, bottom left, "I study English in the evening." So maybe you wait till the kids are asleep. I think this is often a popular choice for when people will study when they have children at home, is once the children get to bed, you can then get on your laptop and it's your time. And then the final one, "I learn English while I walk to the park." Multitasking, studying whilst you are doing other things, but fitting into your routine, your weekly routine. It's amazing how often you have those little moments of a few minutes in the week where you can add in a little bit of extra English study. Okay, so we always follow the warm-up with a vocabulary. This is an opportunity for us to introduce the vocab that will be topic relevant for whatever is the subject that we're doing. In this one, I'm going to give you there's 8 sentences, and each one is missing a word. So it's a simple task. It's a word fill. Complete the sentences with a word from the list. And again, as I said, pause the video, take as long as you like. When you're ready, start it up again and we'll check it together. Okay, so the first sentence, it says, "Maria writes new words in her notebook." Now, as well as being a vocabulary exercise, this is also giving you advice on good ways for you to improve your study, and in particular when you have kids. I would recommend that everybody keeps a notebook. Whilst you're following these lessons, you should be writing down your notes and keeping the notebook at all times. Question 2, "Do children play with their toys?" Whilst you're studying, they're going to be playing. Question 3, "Tom watches a short English video in the morning." You can be watching videos. I think most people nowadays are going to be watching videos on their phone, but you could just as easily watch it on the TV or on your laptop. Question 4, "Maria likes to study when the house is quiet." Question 5, "She can listen to English on her phone." Question 6, Tom's son watches cartoons in the morning. 7, Maria wants to practice new sentences. And the last one, Maria can cook breakfast and learn English. Multitasking, as we mentioned, that was in the pictures in the last warm-up. Okay, so this is the kind of vocabulary that we are going to be using through the lesson, as well as lots of other. And each lesson will then continue with a grammar task. In this one today, we're going to be looking at using while for 2 actions. We use the word while when we're saying that about 2 things happening at the same time. Let's see how this works as grammar. So for example, she listens to English while she walks to work. 2 simple sentences, which is subject, verb, object sentences, very simple sentences linked with this word while. He cleans the kitchen while he talks on the phone. We learn new words while we watch short videos. I drink tea while I read. It's a linking word. And there's 2 different ways that you can use while. You can use it in the middle of a sentence. So the first action, the first part, plus while, and then the second part. For example, I study English while my children play. Or you can flip it so that you use the while at the beginning, and then the first action, comma, and then the second action. For example, while I cook dinner, comma, the children watch TV. So both are correct. You can flip the sentence around. The only difference is obviously with while in the middle, you don't need a comma. When you've used while at the beginning, then you do. But both sentences mean 2 things happen at the same time. Okay, so over the explanation is over on the left. On the right, we're going to give you some practical questions for you to check your understanding. It says, choose the best phrase to complete the sentence. Which one do you think? I study English while my baby sleeps would be the best one. You can't really study while you're shopping, and you can't really study whilst you're doing another activity like a report. Question 2, have a look at that one. She learns new words while B, she reads the newspaper. Newspaper, magazine, could be anything like that, which is going to be a good way of building your vocabulary. And question 3, we listen to English while we wait for the bus. Yeah, you're not going to be studying in your sleep, and you're probably not going to be studying when you're lying in bed unless you particularly want to go to bed early and practice English at that time. Okay. So here's a reading task for you now. The topic, as we're doing throughout the lesson, is this one is studying English with kids at home. So there's a text for you to read. Have a read of that, and I'm going to give you some questions, some comprehension questions. Now, you can either pause the video at this point and read it, or you can wait for the next slide and then pause it at that time with the questions next to you. Take as much time as you like. So this is the same question, the same text, but with your questions. So pause it and then start it up again when you're ready, and we'll check the answers together. Okay, first question, it says, when is a good time to study English? So have a look in the text. It says it's difficult to study when children are in the house. One good idea is to study during quiet times, such as early in the morning or in the evening after bedtime. Next question, what can parents do while they cook or clean? So halfway down, it says others use headphones to listen to English while they cook or clean. Next question, how long do parents need to study each day? It says another idea is to make a small routine. For example, you can study for 30 minutes every day. And then the last one, what activities can children do while parents study? This is towards the end of the text. It says some parents also give their children simple activities like drawing or building with blocks. So something to keep them occupied that doesn't need your attention so that you can get on with doing your study. Okay, each lesson we follow this one up with a listening task. So I'm going to read out a story or a text to you. Whilst I'm reading it out, have a look at the questions on the screen. I'll read it a couple of times and then we'll check the answers together. Okay, so this listening task is called a busy parent's English plan. My name is Sarah and I have 2 young children. I want to study English, but my house is always noisy. I can't study in the afternoon because my kids run around and play loudly. So I make a small plan. Every night after the children go to sleep, I study for 30 minutes. I take an online video lesson or I read a simple story. I also listen to English while I clean the kitchen. I put on my headphones and listen to a podcast. My children don't mind because they are busy with their toys. Every Friday afternoon, I ask my partner to play with the children for 30 minutes so I can take a one-to-one tutorial. It's perfect for me because I can see my English improving every day. Okay, I'll read it out again. This one is a busy parent's English plan. My name is Sarah and I have 2 young children. I want to study English, but my house is always noisy. I can't study in the afternoon because my kids run around and play loudly. So I make a small plan. Every night, while after the children go to sleep, I study for 30 minutes. I take an online video lesson or read a simple story. I also listen to English while I clean the kitchen. I put on my headphones and listen to a podcast. My children don't mind because they are busy with their toys. Every Friday afternoon, I ask my partner to play with the children for 30 minutes so I can take a one-to-one tutorial. It's perfect for me because I can see my English improving every day. Okay, how did you do with these questions? First one, it says, why can't Sarah study in the afternoon? And it's because her kids are running around and playing noisily. How long does she study at night? 30 minutes. What does she listen to while cleaning? And there she is in the picture doing just that. She listens to English podcasts. And who helps her on Friday afternoons? Her partner. Okay. So that's your listening. And now here's a recap. So each lesson we will, when we're getting towards the end of the lesson, we'll do a recap quiz. This is 3 questions to check your learning. First question, which sentence does not use while correctly? Have a look at these 3. Which one do you think? So the first one is not correct. Why her kids are in bed while she studies English. The giveaway is the comma. We wouldn't use a comma in the middle of the sentence when we're using while in the middle. We'd only use the comma when while appears at the beginning, like in C. Question 2. In the reading, how much time a day is suggested for studying English? I think this is mentioned a few times. You can, of course, study as long as you like, as much time as you have. But in this lesson, we're mentioning 30 minutes. And question 3, when is a good time for parents to study English? Have a look at these. Not going to be when your children are crying. That's the worst time to study. And not recommended whilst you're driving, although I suppose you could do a listening task if you really wanted to. But I think the best one would be B, when your children are sleeping. And finally, we end the lesson with a writing task. So you can spend as much time as you like on this writing task. This one is a simple one that hopefully will allow you to use the English that you've learned through this lesson. The title is My English Study Plan, and the question is to write 4 to 5 sentences under the title My English Study Plan at Home. So try to include when you can study, when you can't study, what your children do whilst you're studying, and what helps you to focus. For example, giving yourself a routine or a structure probably will help you. And we've given you an example starter to get you going. It says, I can study in the evening when my children sleep. I can't study when they are noisy. So don't just copy those, but maybe they can give you a little bit of help to get you started. And don't forget to keep your writing safe, because if you have a tutorial, then you can get your teacher to check it. And speaking of tutorials, each unit in the Fast Track English course is 4 lessons, as we've mentioned, and it's recommended that at the end of each unit that you should have a one-to-one tutorial with a teacher. This is not included in the cost of when you've bought the course. It's an extra that you need to go into the ESOL online website and purchase your tutorial and select the time. So it's an optional thing. You don't have to have one, but it is recommended that you do, because it's your chance to practice the speaking. For example, role play situations, any speaking that's come up in the unit, you'll be able to practice with your teacher in this tutorial. You can also get your written work checked, and you can also ask any questions from the unit. Check that you've understood everything. So whilst you're studying the video lessons, obviously you can't pause them and ask the question of the teacher like you would do in a live lesson, but the tutorial gives you the chance to do that. So you're getting as full an experience as you possibly can. And that's it. Thank you for taking part in today's lesson. I hope it was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a nice, simple overview of the kind of thing you expect from each of our fast track lessons. If you have enjoyed it and you'd like to go ahead and book some lessons, then the thing to do is to go and visit our ESOL online website. There's lots more information on there, all about it, and there's links that will allow you to go ahead and buy lessons. You can buy the whole course, the whole elementary course, the 40 lessons as one, or you can buy them individually as individual units. Not lessons, but units. So the units will allow you to be a little more flexible and to be able to select which units you want to study. But if you want to get the full experience, and in fact, the cheapest way to buy is to buy the whole course. Have a look on the ESOL online website. It'll explain it there. It shows you all the prices. All the links are on there. That's the thing to do. And there it is, esol-online.com. That's where you need to go to book. But I hope this has been a useful lesson for you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that I will see you soon in the next lesson and throughout the course. Bye for now.